It's me, Cakes, and today I am going to tell you about some of my absolutely horrifying dreams I've had. I've had like some of the most horrifying dreams you can imagine. It's somewhat of a common occurrence. And I also have other sleep issues, like I walk in my sleep, I talk in my sleep, I get the sleep paralysis, and along with those things, sometimes I have a combination of those things happening, as well as with the night terrors. So I'm going to tell you guys about some of my dreams. I have so many of these horrifying dreams. There's my giraffe friend that watches over me while I sleep. But I have so many of these horrifying dreams, I could probably do an entire segment just on my terrifying dreams. So I'm gonna tell you two. They both happened kind of recently, within the past 6 months. And maybe they're connected, maybe not, I'm not sure. I told somebody about them once before and they suggested maybe they were connected. I don't know. So anyways, on Christmas, the first one was on Christmas, the second one was on Easter. So, okay, on Christmas, I'd been up late on Christmas Eve. I didn't really sleep well. So, on Christmas Day, I took a nap around like 12 or 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And I had this dream that I was in this city, but it was at the beach. It was like a beach city. And it was a place I'd never been before, but I'm fairly certain it was California. And I've never even been to California. But so I had this dream that I was at this beach city, and I was at a gas station, and I was on the phone with my friend, and I was absolutely terrified of this woman. Like, I didn't know the woman. I don't know who the woman was. I didn't see her in my dream. All I know is in my dream, I was absolutely terrified of this woman. And I was on the phone with my friend, and I was trying to figure out why she was after me. And then he said, because they want to do the man, woman, and child ceremony, and you're the woman. And I said, I was like freaking out, like, oh my God, what does that even mean? And then he said that I would die because I would be drinking like crazy, that I would be drunk, I'd be drinking like crazy, like every 3 seconds. And that's exactly what he said. Then he said every 3 seconds, I'd be drinking like crazy every 3 seconds. And then I would be part of the man, woman, and child ceremony. So I kind of looked into this to see if it was actually a thing. I don't know if this is really a thing or not. I couldn't really find anything on it. I'm hoping that it's not a real thing, because if it is, that's terrifying. But if you guys know of any man, woman, and child ceremony, if you've ever heard of anything like that, let me know. So I just woke up in like a cold sweat, completely terrified, and that was on Christmas. Okay, fast forward to Easter, I had this other dream. It was the nighttime. It wasn't the middle of the day nap like the Christmas dream was. But so it was at nighttime, and I had a dream. At first, I was standing on the side of a road, and it was like a highway, and it was like it was a multiple lane highway, like 4 lanes on each side. And we don't have roads like that anywhere near here. Like, you have to drive a good 2 hours or so to get to a road like that from here, because I live in the middle of nowhere. So anyways, in my dream, I see this 4-lane road, and then immediately I'm taken to somewhere else where I'm standing at the top of a staircase, like headed towards an attic. Like, we were at an attic's door, and there was 2 people in front of me, a mom and a dad, and they were like kneeled down trying to get the door open, and I was holding hands with a little boy. And I don't know this little boy. He had blonde hair. It was sort of like a bowl cut, from like back in the day. He sort of had a bowl cut, and he had blonde hair, and he was little, maybe like 4 or 5 years old. So they were trying to get the door open, and they finally did get the door open, and standing right on the other side of the door, at the top of the steps, was a little girl who had long brown curly hair. It may have been black even. It was really dark. She had really long dark curly hair, and she was smiling when we opened the door. And so we went up into the attic, and I looked over and I saw a man crucified on the cross. Like, he was on a cross and he was all covered in blood, and he looked really happy about what was happening. And it's like, I just knew in my dream that was Satan. I just knew it was the Dark Lord. And he was on the cross, and he was so bloody, and he looked me square in my eyes. He looked straight in my eyes, and he smiled the creepiest smile I've ever seen in my life. And then I just didn't even want to look at him anymore because I was terrified. I was terrified because it was like a bloody man on the cross. And he looked happy as hell to be on that cross, all bloody. So then the family, the mom, the dad, the brother, the sister, they all bowed down at this table, right? And it was like a small, like, just like a little end table. They bowed down at this table, and there was a picture on the wall above the table that was like illuminated. It had lights pointed at it. And it's like I just knew that it was the Antichrist that they were bowing down to. But I was scared. I don't want to say anything because there's like Satan over here on the cross, and there's Antichrist picture up here that they're bowing down to. And there's these vials on the table, and they had skulls on them, but it was like they're like halfway up. There's the skulls on the vials, you know, like it was in the middle of the vial that had a skull on it, and they were filled with some sort of liquid. I think it was the oils. I'm not terribly sure, but it was filled with some sort of liquid. And they all bowed down, and they started like chanting this, like, you know, like Catholic sounding chants. Like, it was really creepy. They all started chanting like really high pitched, like, I don't know. I can't recreate it because I just can't. But they were chanting like this, like, it sounded like something I've heard like in Catholic chants or something, you know? So they were chanting, and they started putting the oil on their hands. And I was like holding my breath. I was scared. I didn't want them to know that I was freaking out, like hyperventilating. So I was holding my breath, and I knew that they were worshiping the Antichrist who was up on the wall in the picture. And they poured the oil on their hands, and then I woke up, and I was so freaking terrified. So terrified. And I don't know if that was the man, woman, and child ceremony that I was witnessing or not, that my first dream was about on Christmas, and then this one happened on Easter. I don't know. I don't know why I have these crazy dreams, but those are the most two recent crazy dreams that maybe were connected that I had. And man, I have like some more terrifying dreams that happened in like years ago, but I still remember them. I will never forget these dreams. That's all I have for today. I'll tell you about some more of my terrifying dreams. I have really bad ones. And later!